Yes, Your Honor. First sample for the state. May it please the court. Your Honor, opposing counsel, members of the jury. A park was robbed, a man escaped, and the defendant was behind it all. On August 30th, 2012, an amusement park named Rock World was robbed. A man with a knife threatened the park's accountant and demanded all the cash collected on that day. After he got the money, he ran inside the park instead of leaving the park from the front entrance. And he was being chased by park security. But during that chase, he ran towards one of the rides at the park known as the Tunnel of Terror, a ride he did not choose by mistake. You will learn throughout today's trial that the person operating the ride of the Tunnel of Terror was none other than the defendant, Whit Bowman. You will hear how Whit Bowman was the one who gave the robber the knife that he used against the accountant. Now, as the robber ran towards the Tunnel of Terror, he ran into the ride. Behind him with park security. And instead of turning the ride off to keep everyone safe, the defendant didn't stop the ride. Instead, he allowed the ride to continue moving forward and turned off all the lights. In complete darkness, he gave the robber the means to an escape. Now today is not that robber's trial. Today is his accomplice's trial, the defendant, Whit Bowman. See, the robber, he was the one who robbed the park. The robber escaped, but the defendant was behind it all. Now, today, the state, we are charging the defendant with 2 counts of robbery. First, robbery in the first degree, and theft by deception. Now, robbery in the first degree means that you use force against another with the intent to commit theft. What makes it a first-degree count, members of the jury, is when you're holding a deadly weapon. Theft by deception, this means that you've stolen at least $500 while creating a false impression. Now, while Whit Bowman was not the one who committed the robbery on August 30th, 2012, if you help someone in committing a crime, if you have the same intention as the one committing the crime, the law finds you just as liable as if you committed the crime yourself. And that's called complicity, members of the jury. Now, in today's case, we, the state, we hold the burden of proof. It is our job today to show you that it is Whit Bowman who's guilty of complicity in both of these charges. The law requires that we prove this to you beyond a reasonable doubt. This doesn't mean all doubt. It just means doubt based on common sense and reason. Now, we, the state, we will meet this burden. We will show you that the defendant was the one who was behind the robbery on August 30th. And to do this, we will call before you 3 separate witnesses. First, we will call Billy Isaacs. Billy Isaacs, she's a ride operator, a former ride operator at Rock World, the amusement park. She will explain to you how the Tunnel of Terror is operating, how it's not likely to make a mistake when operating this ride, and how the defendant purposely went over to her 8 separate times, continuously asking, "Can I take over your ride?" Second, we will call a park fan named Tyler Hartman. Tyler Hartman has gone to the park on numerous occasions, and she will explain to you how prior to this robbery, there was a scheme going on. How the defendant was robbing the park of its revenues at the ticket booth. And how on August, days before the robbery, she saw the defendant give the robber a knife. And lastly, we will call a police officer to testify before you today. Detective Francis Kimball. Now, he reviewed the park's finances and he investigated today's case. He will tell you how Whit Bowman knew about the events of August 30th and how she put the ride purposefully in the blackout mode. the moment which turns off all the lights. Now, at the end of today's trial, my co-counsel, Ms. Stephanie Henschel, she'll come before you and she'll explain to you how Whit Bowman was behind it all. Thank you.